Okay, so we're going to discuss something. There's an event that happened in the news. It's an emotional story, and I recorded a rant earlier, then I unlisted it. Don't know how many dislikes there were, but see, the thing is, I have been talking about these things for years, and I want to talk about why. Now, not everybody knows why we have a super, hyper protective aspect to our psyche at times that throws people off when we care about people that aren't even like our own family, basically, and kids. Um, Before we go any further, you might want to read about how you're going to be affected by the eclipse. I'm sweating right now profoundly, but I'm on my first 24 hours without my THC, and I got a few weeks to go. I'm going through this process without something to relax. I'm not going to drink tonight or smoke any cigarettes. Haven't smoked in about 4 years. So really, a person like me could use the chronic right now and friends and beers for this period, and I don't have that. Now, it's really important that people understand. Okay. Um, it seems that there's maybe a culture war going on the internet over what happened. Okay, from the Oregonian, it says lawsuit alleges Portland Public Schools after school program failed to protect third grader from sexual assault. Okay, so we're a couple minutes into this. Now, the person, we'll go and bring it up. The person who I saw report on this is Lars Larson. Like Clyde, like Alex Jones, like Joel Skousen. I met Lars Larson back in the day. He's a syndicated radio host. He's a conservative radio host. And even though I'm not a conservative, I suited up in 2006, took my teacher, I took my radio broadcasting teacher, who was a nobody in the business, to meet the quote unquote great Lars Larson. Lars Larson looked right through me like I was nobody. So sometimes when you guys compliment me and you realize I got issues and I don't take it well, it has to do with the fact that I don't feel like I'm anybody. So I'll just take it as like, oh, I'm not being abused for a moment. That's good. But I just talked to somebody who has his own YouTube channel briefly, and yeah, he did recognize that he's heard me discuss this before, and so it's my concern for you and your kids. Despite even if people weren't the nicest to me, it's not. Man, I do know as a male that we as men are brainwashed towards things that are unhealthy, and I've told women about this throughout my life. Still have a memory of old Jennifer before she left Ruth Chris Steakhouse for San Diego, propositioning me and saying, "Hey, Alex, remember when you said one time if you wanted to ever go at it, if you were to leave town? Well, here's your chance." Problem is, she was drinking. Problem is, she wasn't recognizing my sacred masculine. That's the problem with my interaction with the women. There were some women that I thought were cute that commented on some of my profile or my community tab pictures in the last 2 months. And then when I went deeper into discussing how I don't feel recognized by the women of today's day and age, then they stopped commenting. So comments would be open if there was support from you, especially women. Comments would be open. But they were open for months, and you didn't want to leave any supportive comments when I discuss human trafficking. So without yelling, we'll just do a redux. I am creating content for the future so that women can correct their actions. And can you breed your way out of this with better men? Absolutely. Are you doing that now? Not even like 1 percentile. Maybe 1 to 5 percentile. Your lack of honesty with the collective psyche of the men and women, because it's not really about men or just women, it's about humans. Humans right now are not well. Okay, so lawsuit alleges Portland Public Schools after school program failed to protect third grader from sexual assault. Um, okay, and so there's going to be different perspectives on this that are going to take hours to go through. And it looks like people are fighting over this. Okay. And so, and then this type of video here we're going to show, it's going to show a Palestinian slapping an Israeli, and this will contribute to more hatred towards Palestinians. And Lars Larson was putting out content saying the Palestinians and Hamas are one and the same. Okay. And so there's a rise in hate right now that people don't understand. So let's go back. Um, Here we go. All right, so we'll take a look at the story. And I'm sorry if this is traumatizing, but I'm going to go ahead and report on this and then get off the mic. I'm going to report on this and then I'm going to get off the mic. Okay, 9 years old. It was an attack in the bathroom. They were suspended for 1 day. I want to know the background. Why? If anybody wants to do some research, I'm going to let you tell me if you want to find out. And you can listen to the Lars Larson show. I don't know if Clyde Lewis is covering this. I think that we should ask about the ethnicities of the perpetrators. We should ask if was any pornography being viewed. Did they film this? Was this posted on any website? Who were the staff that investigated? And I said this story a few times. When I was in school, okay, I was attacked by a large black male who was a freshman, and they tried to turn around like I was the victimizer, not the victim, because I was 18. Okay, and much to my horror, I was 18 years old, and I was told, and this motivated me to quit school, I was told that all the freshman white kids lied in favor of the thug black kid against me for no reason. They didn't even know me. But that was the era of the Snoop Dogg. And so I don't view blacks as being the recipients of the most amount of racism based on my lived experience with them assaulting me over and over and over again. And yet I still stand against their hate, even though I'm not a part of the BLM movement. But I've been mocked, just so you know, on paper by a guy who received over $1 million from the federal government for not being a BLM guy. He mocked me. His name's Devin Pignon. He called me a conservative blogger. Do you find that funny? I told you both the left and the right are united against me. I have about 600 views, just so you know, on that video exposing Antifa. But because I'm not a Trump supporter, do you think Trump supporters support me? Do you think that new people went to my Substack and subbed? It was clearly displayed alexansary.substack.com. It is in every video or in the description. How many new subs do you think came over after I exposed Antifa, Jones, and Clyde? Answer: 0. How many likes do you think there are on Substack right now of that video? 0. How do you think that makes me feel? Oh, so awesome. Makes no sense, guy. Makes no sense. And it never will. No argument you can ever write in a million years is ever going to make sense at 0 likes. Just can't happen. It'll never happen. So, according to the legal filing, since the alleged attack, the young girl has been suffering from the pain, trauma, a gap in education, and social anxiety brought on by the incident. So I carry a lot of trauma in my body, just so you know, from that 2011 situation where Clyde Lewis swooped in on the Portland Preparedness Center after I built it up. And I was talking with a woman at a bar after I left, and I was in basically a haunted house. And I told her what I thought was coming with China, and she yelled at me really loudly. And I told you this story 100 times, but some of you are new. She yelled at me really loudly, "We don't need your protection. You're the one who wants to rape women." This white woman said to me, "You're the one that wants to hurt women." This white woman said to me, "We need protection from you," in such a loud manner that people in the bar, it was located around 82nd and Stark, if you can find your way to a Google Maps. Okay. I've also been thrown out of bars, not physically. I've never been harmed by a bouncer in Portland, but they have a history, including the A-man, of, sometimes being over the top in their response. Although the A-man's a lot better than a lot of those dirtbags that are bouncers. There's a lot of dirtbag bouncers, and Andrew Dice Clay is a garbage human being, just so you know how I feel about it. I don't like Andrew Dice Clay just because I like Brain Smasher. I just thought you should know that. So there's no awkward energy between us. He is garbage, and he's a racist, Asian-hating sack of shit. F you, Andrew Dice Clay. The A-man was about to tear your head off. That's why your big black security guard stepped in, you racist sack of garbly goo. You're nothing. The A-man is the real Brain Smasher. Moving on now. What kind of a movie would accentuate the punch into the head into something that's like, beyond human? That guy that you hit at the end of Brain Smasher would destroy you in seconds. Who was a phone buddy of the A-Man for many years. The guy in Cobra Kai who was also the villain at the end of Karate Kid 2. Okay, so where do we want to take this guy? Friends, do we need to make phone calls? Do you want me to organize a phone blast? Do you think that we need to? Is there enough focus on this? Like, there's 387 comments on this. And this is also going to add to the hate in Portland. But it's really sad that Portland women historically have treated me like a lesser than. And I think that this does trigger pain in me. Because for years I talked about Portland being ground zero for women being basically kidnapped. And I was told by a lot of people there, like, this isn't happening, bro. You're the one that wants this to happen. Other people, and I have screenshots, have said to me, bro, this is the least of our concerns when World War III happens. No, if you care about women and you have daughters, it's the first thing. Now, some of you are religious and you're just convinced that we've only lived once, and I'm not. I'm not. So I'm not convinced. You're convinced. I'm not. I'm not convinced that I've never been gang raped as a woman or a man. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not convinced that I did not have a woman taken from me in the past. I think that you, men and women, I really needed to re-record this podcast. If you feel awkward when I get really passionate about defending women, I perceive you to be psychologically weak. The only thing that would convince me that you're strong people, audience members, is if you thanked me for trying to rage against the anti-white sentiment and the human trafficking sentiment. You refuse to do that. To the point where I feel like I have to, so we'll go ahead and, I just want to show you let's go ahead and go. It does look like I did get an accurate psychic reading a couple days ago from somebody. Okay. She says the following. I'm seeing you need to be more focused into career and stop worrying about your future and stepping out of the box. I see things falling into place as well as with love, which just sounds ridiculous. Nobody loves me. The first line of this defense is for true love to come from the mother. That's unconditional. The next line of consciousness shift would be unconditional love from the feminine audience, and emails to arrive saying, bro, high five, we're with you. That would be like the next major flash in the pan. It wouldn't be, hey, bro, you're such a beloved soul, but hey, guess what? So am I. Hey, bro, your twin flame just arrived. And, and then go on to, say other things to get me, click here for activation, $144, and you can be a member of the 144. Sorry, not buying it. So this is a simulation, kind of like the Truman Show, but you're here in the Truman Show with me in the simulation. It's a shared simulation, so it's not just me hallucinating you with me. It's like Gunnar and I would talk, and he'd be like, well, what if you're not even here, and I'm not even here? And we would have these almost like old school Aquinas type, philosophical conversations. I believe that was the last name of the philosopher from many, many years ago. Not to be confused with the other, former U.S. Navy officer, Satanist, that killed himself around the time of solar flares. So the reason that there's conflict during solar flares is because people say things that they normally don't say because they need to heal from the trauma. And other people that want to clamp down on free speech, they want to stop people from speaking. And other people, when the solar flares are active, the authorities will clamp down. As we also see security and certain National Guard drills, not that I know exactly what's going on, but they're out in full force. But just because people are scared about what's happening with the solar maximum and the eclipse, right, doesn't mean that something is going to happen the way that they or Alex Jones say it's going to happen. And if anytime Alex Jones is accurate, it's because, and it's true, he's being fed information. Okay? If you're looking for the real deal, a guy who wasn't from a government family, like high-level government family, Although my dad has been a low-level translator, just like you may know people who have worked in the government as military veterans, as trigger pullers that are not master minds or not even necessarily Nazis, but followers, right? My dad's a follower too, you know, but yet he thinks he's counterculture. It's real, real sad. So I know that due to my Middle Eastern ethnicity, that a lot of white women over the years have been really hesitant to know me and like me because of the stigma of wife beating. At the same time, I have suspected that the reason why I was so carnally lucky with lust and women giving me fellatio and turning around and wanting me to give them up to them up the rear end, although I denied giving a few of them that, because I decided that path was not for me. And I thought that the time had come for me to tell you that even though I wanted to go down the carnal route while dating and really be with a freak, I evolved out of that person that I was. And I've denied giving women what they wanted as rough as they requested more than a few times. You know, women asking basically to be hit in a hard way, not even like a relaxed, like we're just playing around way, but like, you know, hit me, baby, one more time, one more. Would I be surprised there's a song called that? And so I have theories about Anunnaki aliens re-engineering our bodies to be mind slaves, like dominant men and dominant women and submissive men and women. And in a lot of relationships, one's dominant and one's submissive. Very rarely do you have equality, okay? And very rarely do psychic women contact me, talk to me. I have lots and lots of experience of going into rooms full of supposed psychic white women and offering to talk to them about the effects of those solar flares and basically being laughed out of the room. It is not hating women or misogyny to bear witness to my lived experience and to cry before you, although I'm not crying now. I'm speaking totally calmly, without anger or rage. I am sad, right? But maybe, you know, this has to be done. This conversation has to be had. Your world has raped this little boy's mind. And you know it's the truth. I shouldn't have come here to this place with you. I have thoughts for Hollywood movie scenes, you know. The council saying guilty in the first part of Superman, if you catch my drift. And basically, I see myself as the identifier. I don't want to go to hell. You understand that, right? I don't want to go to hell. However, on the way to heaven, I do want to help the Creator clean things up. And I know that people have, like that woman that said in the bar to get people looking. I need your help. You're the one that wants to hurt women. And the people looked up and they were on her side. Okay, here's that scene from Superman without video.
Guilty.
Okay.
And welcome back.
You three criminals have been caught in a further act of seditious treason. General Zod, your only feeling was contempt for our society. Your only desire was to command. Ursa, the only feeling you showed was for your vicious general. Your only wish to rule at his side. Don, you are as without thought as you are without voice. This council has no hesitation in proclaiming you all guilty. 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 Guilty.
The people of your planet are well pleased with you, Kal-El. You have served them faithfully, and they are grateful for it. And yet you've returned to reason with me once again. My son, I have tried to anticipate your every question. This was one I'd hoped you would not ask.
My attachment, the feelings which I have developed for a certain human being have deeply affected me, Father.
The one you have chosen, she feels as much for you?
Yes.
Then if this is what you wish, you must live as a mortal. You must become one of them.
You cannot serve humanity by investing your time and emotion in one human being at the expense of the rest. The concepts are mutually exclusive.
And if I no longer wish to serve humanity,
Is this how you repay their gratitude? By abandoning the weak, the defenseless, the needy for the sake of your selfish pursuits?
selfish? After all I've done for them? Will there ever come a time when I've served enough? At least they get a chance for happiness. I only ask as much, no more.
Yours is a happiness.
I apologize for that delay. You know, I don't perceive my childhood to be one in which I was taught how to defend myself or women, but just pretty much taught to hate myself for being a man because of what my dad did to my mom. And there was never any thank you from the women of my family or the women in my audience for becoming a better man and discussing the deeper labyrinths of the New World Order and the solutions that women have at their disposal to make the world a better place. There's a scene from One Crazy Summer to the ZZ Top song, Dirty Dog. So we'll go ahead and find that now. John Cusack has been pretty vocal about what's been happening in Israel and Gaza, and I don't want to see Jews harmed. And that's really sad that there are some Palestinians that hate Jews. I don't believe that any human should be hated because of what their government is doing. But just because there are some Palestinians that give some Jews a hard time, and they've given me a hard time, and I've shown you that. I've shown you Arabs, and I've told you about Afghans, including my father, that have physically harmed me and have punched me. And I don't think most of you actually have been attacked by Muslims or refugees, actually. One Crazy Summer is free. Well, that's awesome, bro. Because, like, it's not often that you see decent celebrities getting the attention they deserve, I guess, in their movies when they speak out against the system. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be great to have, say, an agent, but I don't have one, help me get interviews as if I was in official media. But I don't have that. Unfortunately, I would like to have that. So we're coming up on the scene here. It's taken a few minutes to get to it. Gotta love them commercials. Every time I click, it's a new commercial. So we'll be coming up on it soon here. Okay. There we go. One of the greatest ZZ Top scenes, very masculine. Thank you for being here. I keep changing the screen to avoid a copyright strike. One thing I don't understand is why I throw all that money.
Okay, Cassandra.
Might be a comical scene to you and me, but a lot of women have been raped and brutalized by men in our society.
It's definitely
You know that, right? You know that, right?
Trust me.
But you know that, right?
Excuse me, guys, looking for this?
You can't just keep blaming Muslims. No. Muslims don't run Pornhub. Try again, sunshine. Yeah. Nobody in my family told me to be a John Cusack. Okay. The closest thing. The closest thing. Yeah. The A-Man is the closest thing. Not Alex Jones. Not Clyde Lewis. Not Judge Norrie. The A-Man is the only human I have ever known to promote the idea of knocking out two thugs trying to take out a woman. Not Alex Jones. Not Clyde Lewis. Not David Icke. Okay, these men have never demonstrated to you that they can fight their way out of a paper bag, including Alex Jones. Have you seen Alex Jones on the heavy bag? Do not lie to me. Do not lie to me, boy. Sit down and shut up. It is I who hits the bag. Don't talk to me like I'm the boy when I'm the dude. You hear? Now, have you seen this music video? Don't answer me. Answer me, Ansary. That's Clyde Lewis's idea, by the way. Ansary's answers, right? If you're looking for somebody to blame for this cockamamie idea, Ansary's answers. If you saw me pull that one and you're like, Ansary's answers, dislike. In fact, we're going to get 1,000 accounts and dislike this till the cows come home. There are no Ansary's answers. I beg to differ. So, when I made a punching bag video, the woman that I loved said it was unwatchable. And then when I fell into love with a woman who may have been an intelligence agent in 2016, who was very carnal and turned on by me, when I had a dating profile on Craigslist in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and we had wacky wild sex in her beautiful home. And then I began to drink and feel strong feelings for her. And I began to basically sing the lyrics to her from Don't Answer Me. I'm joking. I've never heard the song Don't Answer Me until the other day. We're going to close this with Don't Answer Me. And we're going to ask the creator to let this bypass the copyright strike, and we'll have some healing. And the women of 2075 will realize that even though this music video from the 70s may have had a dark side to it with showing the alcohol gulping, really a sign of the times. It should have been herb. It shows the masculine man stepping in to protect the woman, not the state, not the government, not the domestic violence shelter. And that's also the future for women that are going to need housing and protection from gang rapists. It's not going to be welfare, and it's not going to be the police. It's going to be men that don't believe that women are property. Okay? And so, just to document this, we'll go ahead and do this. Okay? Because my email has been public for a while, and people have contacted me that have shown them to be totally unconscious, even when they're complimentary, when they're feeling good and the juices are flowing well for them, when it's, their right moon cycle and all that. The rest of the month, there's no contact, there's nothing there, and there's a great deal of accusations sometimes from these people when they're feeling cranky. They're not really grateful, these modern women, for my information. They're happy on Wednesday, but not on Sunday. And there's nothing that I can ever do, nothing that I can ever say that's ever going to change that. So this is my email. This is the transparency. This is the back end. Okay. So we can see here, we can see Patrick on Tuesday. Today is Thursday, if you don't know what planet you're on. You're currently, unless I'm wrong, you're currently on planet Earth, and today is Thursday rather. And then we go down here a little bit, and we can see basically we're all the way back. There's no contact from anyone to me. Now we could say, well, they're deleting emails. They're deleting emails. Alex, they're really there. Well, we go over to Facebook, fuckbook, and we can see that there's nothing there either. And then we can also go to Twitter and see there's nothing there either. But we could see a Jewish guy insulting me, calling me racist. But you saw me, even though I don't like Schwarzenegger, supporting the Iraqi war. The Schwarzenegger stepped against racism of Jews. And I backed him even if I was mad at the A-man for defending him. The A-man taught me more about being a man than most men, and he was man enough to know when to cut me dry because his path was not my path. Now, I've said enough, and I'm going to write further. I'd love to be loved by the women of today's day and age, but let's start with prayer and healing in my heart before we go any further. And appreciation for who I am as a soul. Okay?